Good afternoon for a second time. I assume you can hear me now. My long introduction to the previous start was to say how I'd been having trouble with microphones all week, and the one I'd been using, or I thought I was using, had arrived this morning by courier at 10 o'clock, so I've been here sort of trying to make it all work. I wasn't terribly happy with the sound quality I was getting. So anyway, we're now gone back to the iPad, which was fine when I did the test the other day, so hopefully you can all hear me now. You can't see quite as so much of a close-up, but that's probably a good thing. But the sound quality seemed to be much better on the iPad when I did the test the other day. So as I was saying, the first piece, which I will play again, was the March for the Phoebe by Percy Whitlock. Whitlock was the civic composer of Bournemouth, where he played the Compton organ in the pavilion. And this piece was originally written for ship's band, and it was presented to the HMS Phoebe, which I think was adopted by the town of Bournemouth, or whatever you do to ships, whether you adopt them, I'm not sure. But anyway, Whitlock wrote this piece and presented it to the ship's band. They were rehearsing it, but I don't think ever got to perform it before they were torpedoed, and all the parts were lost until the 1970s, when they turned up in a jumble sale in Bournemouth. Luckily, somebody had the sense to think they might be important and rescued them. They were given to Robert Gower, the Whitlock expert, who has made this organ transcription of it, and it works wonderfully well on the organ. So here, for the second time this afternoon, I will play Whitlock's March for the Phoebe. better, and you could actually hear this time. Mendelssohn then going on. Not only did I spell the poor man's name wrongly in the programme that I'd put up on the event, but I'd got his dates wrong as well. It should have been 1809 to 47. Poor chap was very short-lived anyway. It seems particularly cruel to deprive him of another year. So 1809 to 47. A great composer, spent much time in this country, where he was known as something of an organist and an extemporizer upon the organ. Birmingham Town Hall and St Paul's Cathedral in London in particular. Mendelssohn was also a great fan of Bach's music and did much to revive interest in the music of Bach, which had been largely forgotten about after Bach's death. And it can be no accident that amongst a relatively small output of published organ music from Mendelssohn, 3 of those published pieces are preludes and fugues, and that must be a tribute to the great man himself, surely. This is the prelude and fugue in G, dedicated to Thomas Attwood, who was organist of St Paul's in London. It's a beautiful, quiet prelude. It's very much in the style of Mendelssohn. He's not trying to emulate Bach's music at all, but very much in Mendelssohn's style, rather like the songs without words, I suppose, that kind of very gentle, lyrical sound, using the quieter flute sounds of the organ. And then the fugue begins with the open diapason on the grate, and then gradually builds up as you hear the fugue subjects piling in one on top of another. So Mendelssohn's prelude and fugue in G. The next composer, Clarenbourg, is a name you may not be familiar with. He was one of the great Parisian organists of his time, roughly contemporary with Bach, as you can see, but a very, very different sound world. French organs were very differently constructed from the North German organ school, and that, of course, affected the sound of the music that they played. Often in these French classical works, as we call them, the titles of the pieces describe what you're going to hear. The fourth movement, the basse de crumhorn, or a crumhorn stop used in the bass, flutes, the next movement on, the second movement, duo, so just two parts, etc. And the last one, the caprice sur les grands jeux, is going to be loud, so watch out for that one. But lots of short movements put together into this suite of pieces, possibly, probably used liturgically originally. The French still, to this day, have a tradition of the organ mass, where plain song and organ extemporizations or short organ pieces are interspersed throughout the service. Something that's quite unique to France. And so here is the suite on the second tone. He only left us two, the first tone and the second tone. Whether he intended to go on and complete all 8, we don't know. But anyway, the suite on the second tone by Clarenbourg. And so we come to the last piece in today's programme. It's been very good to play again to a live audience, as it were. Apologies for the technical issues at the beginning. Have to play around with it and hopefully get better at it. In a usual year, normal year, I suppose I'd probably do somewhere around 20 recitals throughout the year in different venues. Last year I managed to do 2, one of which was pre-recorded, and so I thought really I needed to do something before I forget how to play the organ altogether. So thank you for listening. Hope you've enjoyed it. I will be back next week. As I said, I'm not committing myself to a certain number of weeks here, but certainly for the next few weeks until I run out of pieces to play, I suppose. If you would like to make a donation to the Priory, you can do so via the Priory website, bridlingtonpriory.org or .co.uk, I can't remember which, but you will find the information on the Priory website. Like all public buildings, we have suffered a huge loss of income over the past 10 months because the building has been closed to the public, to visitors, and etc., etc. So anything you can give would be very much appreciated, and of course indirectly it will all go toward the upkeep of this magnificent instrument that we're very fortunate to have here in the Priory. And so finishing with a piece of Bach, but Bach seen through 20th century eyes, arranged by the great American organist Virgil Fox. Fox was very much a showman, used to go around wearing a great big cape. He's often been referred to as the Liberace of the organ, which probably tells you all you need to know. He had a electronic touring organ, Rogers organ, that he used to take around and do concerts to thousands of people in venues that didn't have organs and people that otherwise probably wouldn't have bothered listening to organ music. And so he did a lot of good for the instrument and was a teacher of the great Carlo Curley, who I'm sure some of you may have heard. But this is an arrangement of Bach's chorale, Now Thank We All Our God, one of the few German Lutheran chorales that is still in regular use in English hymn singing, hymn books. And you hear it blazing out on the tuba mirabilis up on the solo, up on the top manual, and everything else just seems to get louder and louder and louder. So enjoy. Now Thank We All Our God. I just need to find my copy of this because I was going to play it from the iPad, which of course I'm now using to stream from. So just give me a moment to find the music.